Hello and welcome to my presentation on Unit 8, the roles and responsibilities of a registered nurse. My name is Maureen Achu. In this presentation, I will discuss the recent changes and their impact on the roles and responsibilities of the registered nurse. And I will discuss the role of the Nursing and Midwifery Council in relation to nursing practice. I will analyze implications of healthcare settings. I will analyze implications of the code on nursing practice. I will explain the need for effective communication in a multidisciplinary healthcare setting. Finally, I will evaluate the effectiveness of the multidisciplinary approach in a healthcare setting. Recent changes and their impact on the roles and responsibilities of the registered nurse. There have been many transitions in nursing practice over the years. One constant through it all is that nurses are essential to providing quality health care. And with many imminent changes in nursing for the future, this fact remains unchanged. Each qualified nurse further walk up the ladder to become nursing sisters, nursing coordinators, ward managers, and matrons working in different specialized areas. Before the formation of the NHS in 1948, a nurse's role was to meet doctors' demands, as doctors were acknowledged as professionals. However, nurses were considered fundamentally unskilled and differential, but perceived to be respectable, not necessarily accountable for their actions, and are in charge of decision making. This in turn, however, gives more responsibilities, widening patient care services throughout the community. Nurses can now work independently by substituting for doctors at GP services and hospitals, conducting healthcare assessments and delegating with other health professionals. Accidents and emergencies now have reduced waiting times, focusing on more critical care needs. Throughout all this, the registered nurse is expected to constantly learn new information in order to keep up to date with practices. This gives time for reflection which on more critical care needs. Throughout all this, the registered nurse is expected to constantly learn new information in order to keep up to date with practices. This gives time for reflection which can boost performances, confidence, and build good relationship. There is the issue of under-representation of male nurses, as it was considered a woman's role to care for sick people in hospital settings and in the wider community. Nurses' role have changed a lot since the 1990s. There has been a rise in male nurses. For instance, in the year 2016, male nurses made up 11.4% of the NHS, but female nurses remained higher. For patient preference, more male nurses are preferential, and some men may wish to keep their dignity and be cared for. With nursing seen as an exceptional career over the years, health services and government policies have come to terms. Patients now partner and work with health professionals, taking part in maintaining and restoring their well-being. There has been a significant change in nursing. Training was not deemed necessary, and many ill patients got taken care of by their family members, that is, mother. At present, there are definite and comprehensive qualifications for nurses and specialties, certificates and degrees for numerous nursing types. The British society and scientific community played a role in better access to education, developing gender equality, scientific development, and more constant public support on NHS services. The changing role of nurses within the NHS 2021. Technology is constantly changing. The care-making plans are now all computerized. There is more well-structured and saves money. However, regular charges also mean regular training on nurses ought to be up to date with all their trainings. With data being computerized, it means it's more readily available to other professionals in a healthcare setting, making services attainable to service users. All media records must be clear and concise, clear and dated, and stored securely. The Department of Health set targets, policy initiatives, structural and organizational changes to improve the quality of care patients receive through the NHS modern lifestyle choices. That, for example, harmful eating, the high obese population, and many more. And many more are the primary cause of many health conditions. This is paramount cause of increasing demand from the public needing treatments that inflates costs. Political changes have made an immense impact on nursing. The goal of the NHS is safeguarding the public's interest. However, interest. Okay. Must be none. Okay. Political changes that have immense impact on nursing. The goal of the NHS is safeguarding the public's interest have been determined by the allocation of funding by the government. In 2013, Clinical Commissioning Group (CCG) replaced Primary Care Trust and placed further emphasis on nurses taking on further roles by taking the more professional leadership responsibilities. By 2016, CCGs began employing full-time superintendent nurses with the responsibility of the overseeing the reshaping of the healthcare system and the quality of the organization. From this, it goes in line with the legal and original demand for a registered nurse to have a position on the governing body in all levels of healthcare, following the failures that were highlighted at the Mid Staffordshire NHS Foundation Trust in the course of an inquiry. As a result of this, nurses across the NHS developed their autonomous abilities in advocating for the patients, and whistleblowing is now being done more efficiently. The government have been forced so often to impose healthcare budget cuts during times of austerity in order to curb government spending. This is a result of a combination of factors such as rise in the aging population, supply issues, the rising cost of technology and treatments, and the growing public demand. The issue can be illustrated in the current pandemic of COVID-19 that started in 2019, where there have been a budget increase from £148 billion in 2019/2020 to £201.7 billion in 2020 to 2021. This has placed massive strain on nurses as there is a shortage of staff, lack of funding for PPE and equipment, and an increased number of patients, causing many hospitals to have problems such as overcapacity. The ascent in the maturing populace and the costs that concur have prompted social factors that nurses has had to adapt innovatively because of the requirements of the general population. This is true. Nurses directly research and grow their range of abilities through further education. Patients are now knowledgeable, furthermore, ready to address nursing choices as clinical information has become more open through clinical guidance and procedures. Clinical care pathways. From this, patients have more avenues on where to raise concerns about their care through channels like patient advice and liaison services, and government channels like the Care Quality Commission. Nurses seek to achieve a healthy society, encourage healthy choices, provide support and information, prevent ill health, promote health and more independent living, and deliver more balanced funding within the NHS as the population grows exponentially. Many more health clinics in the community have been introduced, consisting of various specialized health professionals, that is mental health nurses, physiotherapists, warfare nurses, tissue viability nurses, diabetes nurses, and many more. Increased community care and advanced technology, that is extensive screening procedures and efficient computerized care planning, have had a significant impact, enabling nurses to use their skills and knowledge to improve health and communicate safer. The role of the Nursing and Midwifery Council in relation to nursing practice. The Nursing and Midwifery Council, NMC, is the professional regulator for nursing associates, midwives, and nurses in the UK. The NMC has a responsibility in safeguarding the health and wellness of the general public. The NMC sets professional requirements of education, behavior, and performance. The NMC additionally makes sure that nurses keep their skills and expertise by being up to date with the necessary training. Therefore, upholding the NMC professionals' requirements. Every registered nurse has their name and information in the NMC register. Each registered nurse has to maintain an authorized nursing qualification and be in proper fitness and integrity to be located at the NMC register. To be a part of the NMC, newly qualified nurses need to submit an application and declare eligibility to take the competence test. Once this is achieved, payment is required to register and take the Pearson UVE test. Each nurse is expected to renew their registration every 3 years, revalidate their health to exercise. Revalidation aims to improve public confidence as well as promoting good practice in the nursing and midwifery professions. It is crucial to understand that it's not about making assessments of your fitness to practice. Revalidation helps to encourage a culture of reflection, sharing, and improvement. It has advantages for nurses, midwives, or nursing associates, as well as the people who are being cared for. Many implications can arise before the NMC Code of Nursing and Midwifery. For instance, if nurses fail to meet the standard professional requirements, many complications may arise, imposing problems to their duty of care. The NMC then steps up and issues warnings. In the worst case scenario, if nurses do not operate safely, they may lose their registration PIN. To be a part of the NMC, newly qualified nurses need to submit an application and declare eligibility to take the competence test. Once this is achieved, payment is required to register and take the Pearson UVE test. Each nurse is expected to renew their registration every 3 years. And revalidate their health to exercise. Revalidation aims to improve public confidence as well as promoting good practice in the nursing and midwifery profession. It is crucial to understand that it's not about making an assessment of your fitness to practice. Revalidation helps to encourage a culture of reflection, sharing, and improvement. It has advantages for nurses, midwives, or nursing associates, as well as the people who are being cared for. For nurses, midwives, or nursing associates, many implications can arise before the NMC Code of Nursing and Midwifery. For instance, if nurses fail to meet the standard professional requirements, many complications may arise, imposing problems to their duty of care. The NMC then steps up and issues warnings. In the worst case scenario, if nurses do not operate safely, they may lose their registration PIN. Implications of the Code on Nursing Practice. Nursing practice follows a code that is vital to the role of the NMC as a professional body for regulating nurses, midwives, and nursing associates. The Code of Conduct 2015 sets the standards of conduct and behavior for those in the NMC register to uphold professional standards. The code is defined in 4 themed areas. The first area are prioritize people. To achieve this, nurses must put patients' best interest first and maintain their dignity throughout care. Nurses should treat each patient as an individual, be kind, compassionate, and show respect, ensuring the needs are recognized as nurses are the patient's advocates. Each nurse should follow the guidelines and keep up to date with training, maintaining the skills and knowledge needed for safe and effective practice in line with the best available evidence. The third area is preserving safety. Each nurse and midwife should work within the limits of their competence in observing, identifying, and assessing normal or worsening physical and mental health. Finally, the fourth area is promoting professionalism and trust, acting with honesty and integrity at all times, upholding the values set out in the NMC Code. In each area of a nurse's expertise, they need to deliver the fundamentals of care effectively and avoid judgment, ensuring diversity and patient individual choice is recognized. Nurses are responsible for reporting any concerns, misconduct to their employer or their professional body or union. Nurses must advocate discriminative behavior if they believe a patient is suffering abuse, neglect, or feels they are at harm or in danger. They must act immediately, raising concerns, report, and accurately record following the code of practice. However, patient's permission is wanted except in extenuating circumstances. The need for effective communication in a multidisciplinary healthcare setting. Doctors, nurses, occupational health, physiotherapists, and many more health professionals work together in multidisciplinary team. These health specialists work together incorporating their unique skills and knowledge to meet their patients' comprehensive health needs. Each team member must have a great understanding of their roles and responsibilities and respect other professional roles, making it coherent that they are accountable for their actions. MDTS is managed by a care coordinator. Successful combined care outcomes are gained through good leadership, and cooperation is vital. Communication is a vital key in nursing. Good communication skills are critical with the colleagues who work within the MDT, the patients and their families. They must exhibit the ability to listen with empathy and respond to people of all ages using various communication skills and approaches. Many patients of all ages may be anxious, distressed, and face many problems with their health and well-being. MDTS plays a crucial role in bridge professional boundaries and breaking down the barriers of competing for cultural organizational differences. Trust is the key to attaining a better relationship in their jobs. Many errors can occur in delivering patient-centered care without trust and communication. The benefit of good communication within a multidisciplinary team will show within their work. Each team member in the MDT has a shared goal and shares responsibility, taking accountability for their actions, respecting choices within their group. An aggregate of various personalities, consistent effort, interpersonal relationship, and participation from each professional is important. Following behavior standards such as remaining polite and having integrity, being empathic and non-judgmental improves overall quality. Taking the time to listen to other specialists and each patient, improving patient outcome and allowing nurses to understand better and prepare to address issues as they arise. The effectiveness of the multidisciplinary approach in a healthcare setting. It is vital in a healthcare setting that multidisciplinary team exists as it facilitates the collaboration between healthcare professionals, therefore improving the care given to patients and their families by making it more comprehensive. Working in a multidisciplinary team can be an effective and efficient way to manage staff, although sometimes personalities clashes and varying personal opinions can cause conflict as different team members come from unique backgrounds. It is essential to maintain professionalism and listen to each other to decide the best course of action for the patient. It could potentially hinder progress and take more time in providing care if members of the team are awaiting updates on progression from other professionals. This in turn may lead to frustration from patients themselves or from other colleagues, so there is pressure involved in providing services on time from other members of the MDT. Each person may have their communication preference, which may differ from others, but it is important to be able to adapt and learn new forms of communication when necessary, as this can be beneficial when applied overall. It will be beneficial for healthcare settings to use multidisciplinary team in order to provide care for patients, especially those that might need extra care. It gives patients access to an entire team of professionals. It also creates new avenues for service implementation. Team themselves can clarify the roles and responsibilities within the team and adopt clear standards for communication, as well as agree on shared objectives in order to achieve a successful multidisciplinary team. Conclusion. To conclude, throughout history and even recently, many medical advantages have been made. Nurses strive to figure and work in partnership with their team across multiple disciplines and with patients and their families. The NMC provides a framework and guidance for nurses throughout their careers and exists to enforce a regularity of competence across the nursing industry. In the healthcare setting, nurses are central and play a key part within the multidisciplinary team, using their skills and knowledge in their areas of expertise and providing quality care using safe practice. Thank you so much, and this is the end of my presentation.